Coarse fishermen has to be the most stubborn people out there. Their opinions differ in the same manner the wind changes. What happens underwater? How do the fish react? And how do I bank more weight? Those are the questions that are in the minds of true coarse anglers. Of course, a lot is to be found in theories and analysis of everyday angling. But to truly answer those questions, you have to take a look underwater. Welcome to Underwater Coarse Angling. In the coming 3 days, two good friends are going to display their style of coarse angling. Stijn is going to kick off with a more traditional approach to coarse fishing, using sweet ground baits, casters and worms.
Fishing with worm today. Worm and a caster on the hook. First put the worm on. We've got a caster. The ground bait we're using is a mix from Van der Einde and Biomix mixed up together, 50-50. That's what we're using today. We're going to cast out to the marker over there, which is not really easy because there's a lot of wind today. Just wait till it hits the bottom. There it is. Now we'll see what happens. There's a lot of fish around anyway, so shouldn't take too long to get another bite. So many fish around. I think we're in already. There we go. We're fishing a light feeder today with a normal 2500 reel. The reason for this short rod is because we've got some overhanging trees as well. Normally in these circumstances I would use a medium heavy rod. Takes a bit longer to get the fish in, but it pays off anyway. And just taking our time. There's some big fish around here as well. First fish we caught, probably about 7 pound already. There he is. Another big bream. See if we're on the spot. And there it is.
One of the first things we notice when watching the underwater footage is how much room a fish has to manipulate the hook bait. This bream takes the hook bait, ever so slightly moves the cage and then decides to drop it and pick it up again. And not until then it hooks itself. This is a strong indication that we have to rethink the amount of room we give these fish. One of the other drawbacks of using a long rig, in this case 20 inches long, is especially in situations where there is a lot of activity in the swim, you increase the chances on the fish foul hooking themselves, as shown here. Yet another example of the inefficiency of long rigs, being able to swim around long time before getting hooked.
What you'll see is that when you cast out, that the bream will back off a bit, but if we're lucky, well, most of the time they'll be back within about 5 to 10 minutes. What we're doing now, because the bream backed off a bit, we're just bringing a few cages with some ground bait and see if we can get the bream back in again. Because about half an hour ago there were loads of them. That one's right on the spot. Just looking to the frame. There it comes. Just leave it on the bottom for a few seconds. Now we just retrieve, get the bait out, and hopefully the bream will come back pretty soon.
How are you starting already?
Hiya Phil, how are you?
Not so bad, you?
Fantastic.
You're still using your traditional bream baits?
That's what they wanted me to use today.
How have you got on today anyway?
Not too bad.
Some big bream?
Some big bream, yeah. First one I caught was around £7, I think.
Nice fish.
They quieted down a bit now, So we're just getting some bait out at the moment and see if they come back.
Come back. And then rumour has it we're going to mess around with some pellets tomorrow.
We're going to do that tomorrow, yeah. Fish the method feeder, short hook lengths, and the boilies. I'm using worm today, worm and caster, not very special. Sweet mix, bio mix, and a bit of Van der Einde stuff in it. A few casters, few bits of worm. And that's basically it.
Right. And then we'll use the boilies and the pellets tomorrow. So.
Boilies and the pellets tomorrow.
Right. Well, I'll get out your way, and I'm going to be your assistant, watching where your feeder's landing. So.
Fantastic.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you, Phil.
While Stein puts out some cages to bring the fish back again, Phil makes his first sharp observation.
The first thing I noticed from that was a lot of your ground bait seems to come out prior to your feeder hitting the water.
Does it?
Yeah, I've always thought that your feeder hit the bottom and then your ground bait and your bait exploded out, but maybe with new technology now we're going to find out that a lot of your bait comes out mid-water.
Comes out during the fall.
Yeah.
It's rather strange though, because what I'm using today is a normal Drennan cage, a plastic one. It's got some tiny little holes in it. So you should think that the ground bait stays in quite well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. You think it's wise to see what happens if we use one of these?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, chuck the cage out. The cage obviously was designed so that your ground bait came out much easier.
Out during the fall, yeah.
Yeah, well, not so much during the fall, but much quicker. But that's really surprised me how quick it has come out.
See where that one goes. Bit further to the left, but it should come in. See it? It's like a rocket, isn't it? But there's still ground bait in it. All right. So that shows you that if you press it in a bit firmer, it stays in.
I think we learnt this, without the use of underwater footage, is that cage feeders are much better because they just allow the water to get to your ground bait much quicker.
The thing is, if you use a normal cage, and you press it in firmly, it stays in too long.
That's why the best way to bring bait to the swim is by using an open cage with ground bait firmly pressed into it. Just leave the feeder for about half a minute on the bottom and then retrieve. The best way to go.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be many fish in the peg at the moment, so we're just waiting for a few fish to come in, but I think we already know that fish are not feeding on your bait all the time, so I think the fish come in and out, and obviously at the moment they're definitely backing off the feed. As you can see, the fish may not be feeding, but we certainly are. Cheers.
Any fish moving, Phil?
No, I'm eating.
Just when we thought we wouldn't see any more fish for the day, this huge carp of around 25 pounds came in.
I tell you what, Stein, what pound line you got on, Stein? Here we go. It's a big fish as well. Take your line clip off, Stein, if I was you.
Yeah?
Yeah. Look at that for footage. I thought you might be in, no. He spooked off, didn't he?
As you clearly can see, the carp takes the hook bait but rejects it before it gets hooked. That would have been quite a handful for Stein.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's the worm.
Watch it. Watch where it lands. Watch it. Watch it. There it is.
Right.
There it is.
Go on
okay.
in. There
Point
it is.
Finger. Look, there he comes.
That's the side bit of the worm.
There he comes.
We
And he
did,
went
yeah,
for
he
it.
fucking
Fucking
did, yeah.
did it.
He had it. You see, if you'd had a hairy
Did
guy,
you?
he might have...
Look at his mouth.
He ate the fucker. So. That's a full. So I think that's a bigger fish than you realise. The way
Double
he
figure.
flags.
Yeah.
At least 25.
£25, you reckon?
Yeah, at least.
It was a big fucking side. Useless. we could have caught that £25. It's a wrap. See you soon. All the best. Bye. Couldn't we?
So yeah.
He'll come back over the feet, over that area, won't he? Quite big common as well. Are we live now, yeah?
You're gonna have a lot of trouble landing that one.
As you can see, we've drawn a close to the end of day one. It's starting to get a bit cold, and I think we're going to have an early night and come back fresh and keen tomorrow's time.
Sounds like a good plan. Caught a few fish today. Turned very slowly the last 1.5, 2 hours. We've put some other bait out. I've tried it today with the traditional type of ground bait, together with the worms and some casters. The longer hook lengths, normal cages, and I'm looking forward for tomorrow. Phil's going to do some fishing with the ringer ground bait, method feeder, short hook lengths in combination with a boilie, and I'm curious to see what that delivers.
Yeah, be nice. Put a few bream on the bank and see what questions we can answer and what things we can learn.
Sounds like a plan.
Looking forward to it.
Get an early night, get some sleep, something to eat, and get back here tomorrow pretty early to get a fresh start.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
See you in the morning.
All right, Phil. Like yesterday. Jeez, it's windy.
Very similar conditions to yesterday, I'd say, Stein.
What do you think, Phil?
Well, a little bit on the windy side, but
It is like yesterday.
sun's poking through a little bit, but not bad conditions for fishing.
Wind's blowing in the right direction, same as it was yesterday. Hope we'll get some fish.
Fingers crossed.
You wire.
Let's go and catch some bream.
All right, I'm going to head up to the bivvy, have a look at the monitor, see if there's any fish around.
Righto.
You
I shall get ready, mate.
start to get your kit organised.
While Stein keeps an eye out on the monitor, Phil shows us the baits and techniques he's going to use for this day.
Well, I'm going to quickly go through the tactics and baits that I'm using on today's session. We'll start off by simply showing you how to mix some ground bait up. I'm using really half a bag of natural Ringer's fish meal ground bait, and half a bag of Ringer's dark ground bait. I like to use a bit of a darker mix, especially in really clear water like we're fishing in today. Just mix the two together so you start getting that nice dark colour. Like so. Fish meal ground baits tend to take on a lot of water, so you can put plenty of water on. I always say they're quite foolproof to mix because, you know, as you can see there, you can over wet them, but it will take all that water on, so you haven't really got to worry about over wetting them. Get out a good mix round. As you can see, that's too wet at the moment, but give that 2 or 3 minutes and that'll all soak in and it'll come back about right. We'll probably even have to add a bit more water. So I'll leave that there for a second and I'll show you how to soak your micro pellets up. We'll do half a bag of micros again. These are really simple to mix up. Well, simply half a bag there, and we're going to add enough water just to make sure that the pellets, all the pellets, are covered in water. Not swimming in water, but just about covered. about like that, just so they're not swimming but are just a bit of a smattering of water in. They're best left for leave them for about an hour, and then, so what little trick I do is once I get to my peg, I do those pellets straight away and then I tackle up. So basically by the time I've tackled up, they're about ready to use. And here's some I prepared earlier. They just go like little tiny sponges, and you can mould them together. You can do what you like with them. Very versatile bait and brilliant at holding carp and bream. And no matter how hard you squeeze them together, once they're in the water, they all come back into little pellets again. So very good bait. And and obviously using on the hook today, we're using white boilies. A great bait for bream. Obviously started off using for carp. We've got some red boilies as a change bait as well. So we'll quickly go back to the ground bait. You can already see that that's already dried out quite a bit. I'll even take a bit more water to it. Like so, and that wants leaving for about 5 minutes, and then it wants riddling, which we'll do in 5 minutes time. Right, I've got a very simple way of fishing today. I've just got direct reel line, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to tie a swivel into a loop. As simple as that. I'm going to put the line through the eye of the swivel, and I'm going to tie a loop so that the swivel's inside the loop. Once, twice. That's going to give me the swivel in the loop, like so. And all I'm going to do is clip a method feeder on, like so, with a short 5-inch hook length to a hair-rigged 8mm boilie. Using the swivel is going to allow me to use 2 feeders at the same time. So basically, this one will be in the water. I shall reel it in, unclip it, and put an already prepared one back on, which will have a swivel on it as well. And also, because it's in a loop with a swivel on, it allows me to put my feeder, which I'm going to use to put bait in prior to the session. I shall start by putting a little tiny bit of ground bait, one end, as a plug, full of micros, and then plug it again the following end. So I've got like a pellet ground bait sandwich. Put that in 4 or 5 times, and then I simply, once I've done my baiting up, unclip the feeder, put the method feeder on, and then do my fishing with that. And I'll show you how to mould the method feeder up. A little bit of ground bait first, just to cover the prongs. Boilie on top. Next bit of ground bait. And then just mould it into a nice smooth, aerodynamic little mouthful of bait, like so. And then once I've cast that one into the water, the first thing I shall do is, while I'm fishing, I'll then prepare the next feeder. So there's no time wasted at all. And that's the method feeder. As you can see, I've left the ground bait for about 5 minutes and it's got a few lumps in it, so I'm just simply going to riddle it to get rid of the lumps. Something that I always do, but I see a lot of anglers who don't spend the time to riddle their ground bait. It makes such a difference. Only takes 15-20 seconds of your time, and you're left with a lovely, fluffy, beautiful, soft texture that hopefully the fish should love.
How are you getting on, Phil?
Well, I'm just going to have a few casts with just an empty method feeder on, just to try and get the range and get my clip on. So when we actually put some bait around the feeder, we're about ready to fish it. A bit further, I'd say.
What bait are you going to use today, Phil?
Well, I'm going to use fish meal ground baits, micro pellets, and boilies on the hook. There won't be a sight of a worm or a caster all day.
No worm and caster. I thought you loved those.
No. I used to love them, but
not anymore.
Results have meant that we don't use them much anymore.
Phil starts building the swim up with micro pellets and then starts fishing with a method feeder with pellets pressed on top of it. But by putting the pellets on in a normal manner, the images quickly show that the bait comes off during the fall and therefore not leaving you with a small mouthful where the hook bait lays on top. So the guys have a quick chat about solving this problem.
If you mix the pellets up with the ground bait, it gets more sticky. That's what I found. But it's very interesting to see that as soon as it hits the bottom, the boilie comes off straight away.
We'll have another chirp. To the right, and
the fish are moving in now anyway.
I'll have another cast.
All right.
Maybe then I'll try putting ground bait on.
Yeah, try that.
See if that moves them, Steve.
They're definitely out there. Oh, that's spot on. Ground bait still in there, fantastic. That was a perfect cast. Right in the middle.
So if you want a concentration of bait around the feeder, the best way to go is to mix up the pellets with ground bait. While the first series of fish come over the swim, we notice that they're behaving quite differently compared to the day before. They just don't seem to be in a feeding mode. Perhaps the change in weather from cloudy to sunny has something to do with it.
So there's some bream in the area now.
In the area now.
And they're just starting.
They just started to feed a bit now.
Yeah. They keep coming over the top of the baits, and it's as though they're having a look at it and just thinking, we're going to start having a bit of food. They're just picking the odd bit off now, getting more and more confidence, sir. And I think in the next 5 or 6 minutes, we might see the whole shoal have a like a 5-minute feeding spree. Maybe we'll catch 2 or 3, like you would in a match situation, and then I think they'll spook off again, and the whole process will come back. But it's good to see some fish in the area, Stein.
It is, yeah.
It's quite amazing how a single day can show you a complete different range of behavior. Whereas yesterday they were emptying out the swim of all the ground bait, today it's just a little mouthful each time. After well over 3 hours of waiting, we decided to take drastic measures, putting out around 10 pounds of bait to hopefully stimulate the fish to start feeding. Sadly, to no effect. The fish are still reluctant to feed properly. We just have to wait until they decide it's time.
Any activity, Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, there's one coming.
Come on then.
Are they feeding already?
No. I just put 3 or 4 more feederfuls in, but see the movement, but
there's quite some bait down there. Definitely fish around.
Yeah, I just put 3 or 4 more feederfuls in, chucked the method back out, and within 2 minutes there was a fish there, but still not
really. Don't
not
seem
feeding.
to be interested.
No.
But it didn't discourage Phil to stop experimenting. Perhaps some micro pellets will do the trick. He managed by applying loads of pressure to the bait when applying it to the method feeder to create a small pile of pellets around his hook bait.
There it is. Spot on. Leave it. That's brilliant.
Is that poly perfect?
Yeah.
Can you see the boilie?
Yeah. Positive. Any second now.
You said that.
What I'll do
He
is
said that 28 hours ago.
what I'll do is I'll watch some other images from a few hours ago, and maybe if we're lucky, you just hear the rock falling.
Conditions are perfect now. Perfect conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch it.
What did that go for, Stein? Not me.
Not for the boilie, no, but just leave it. Just leave it.
So I think maybe if we hadn't put an avalanche of bait in and would fished a longer tail on a single bait, you might have had the odd bite.
But to be brutally honest, they're not feeding confident. They're not holding
No,
in
but
on it.
obviously you're taking that into account. They're not feeding very well. Yeah.
This one's feeding.
The only way, obviously,
But not-
you'd have got a few bites was to be really negative.
After a very long wait, the guards finally decide to give Phil a break and he gets his first take.
Hey, sorry, I haven't got a land in it yet, have
I'll help you with that, Phil.
I? Good lad.
Don't worry.
I think we should put some more bait in after we catch
Yeah,
it.
an avalanche. We'll bring this in.
Feels like a nice fish. Really on 016 as well, Stein.
There you go, Phil.
Thank you, Stein.
How does that feel, Phil?
Relieved.
Relieved.
Could be a late night now, couldn't it? Seems a lot of those red boys inside, don't
They do, yeah.
they? Good decisions.
The colour just stands out a bit more, I think. Compare it to white and yellow.
See the boilie hanging next to me off the street, can't you? A nice Dutch bream. Get the Heineken cracked open. Nice tail, it's nice, it's in good condition as well, Stein, that is.
Is it?
Compared to some of the fish that we lovely hook hold. It's a nice fish. Wait. Don't want to get my fleece dirty. Nice colour as well, Stein. Oh yeah. It's a nice colour.
It's a lovely fish, Phil.
Yeah.
Great condition.
We've worked hard to catch it, haven't we? Nice fish though.
Lovely.
Let's put him in the net with the others. I caught that last fish on a red boilie, so I'm just going to put another one on the hair rig, like so. Just simple, just got a baiting needle, put it through the little loop, slip the boilie back on, and a simple boilie stop. I mean, back in the day we used to use a bit of grass, but got baiting needles these days. Simply got the boilie there on the hair rig, little boilie stop. Going to put a few micros in the feeder, bit of a longer tail as the fish don't seem to be that positive today, and see if we can get another one.
Bang on, right in front of the camera. As you can see, the red boilie really stands out. In which way does color affect the results? The guys have a discussion about this.
You can try that tomorrow if you want.
What?
Yesterday, the ground bait I was using was bright yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they really seemed to see it very well and home in on it. Today we're using, all the ground bait that we're using is
Yeah, but you can see the
virtually
pellets.
the same colour
you
as
can see
the-
the pellets there, though, easy, can't you?
well, it's a slight dip, but it's all in a bit of a brown colour.
Yeah.
What might be nice to do tomorrow is maybe use the ring as red.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
See if it stands
Lighter
out and
colour,
if the
yeah.
fish see it better and home in on it. Because we've seen today that with the red boilie, when it stands out, they grab it.
Yeah, it
They
seems
just
as
come
though
in for that
because the
tiny-
fish aren't really in a feeding frenzy,
They aren't, no.
they're just picking. They're coming in really fast, picking up
Pick
one particle
one piece
off the bottom.
and off.
And the boilie seems to be, the red boilie today for us seems to be the closest thing to what they seem to want to eat.
It shows you that they, in my opinion, they do detect colour, especially when the
Yeah,
water's
yeah,
when the water's very clear. They know exactly what they want and what they don't.
Yeah.
We can try the red ground bait tomorrow in combination maybe with a yellow.
Yeah.
And maybe a 10 mil instead of an 8.
Yeah.
Bit bigger, bit more colour.
Stand out more, yeah.
Stand out more, see if that works.
I think what obviously one probably lesson we have learnt today is that to catch bream, you haven't got to feed as much as everyone believes.
No, especially in these circumstances.
Clear water, bit of sunshine.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Fish are spooky.
The strength of baits, one feeder full is probably enough smell to attract fish from all across the lake, and then you just got to get one there, and then you got to catch it.
Yeah.
And once you caught that one, you try and catch the next fish.
As we all know, we don't land every fish we hook, and that's the case in this situation. So Phil doesn't waste any time and puts out the rig with the red boilie straight away. The good news is that the fish are feeding more confidently towards the evening, and slowly Phil is getting more pickups. As we have seen, long rigs tend to give the brim more room to reject the bait, and this is no different when using boilies, so the right length for your rig is very crucial.
It seems as though today you need your hook length to be long enough so that your hook bait, your boilie, is a good way away from your feeder, maybe 10-12 inch, but also balanced in that we've now had 2 fish that have hooked themselves and 3 fish where they've taken the boilie and rejected the bait without obviously the feeder or the tip moving. So possibly there's a really fine line between the length of hook length you need. So I've just tied one up here with a yellow boilie on, which is about, I don't know, maybe 10-11 inches. So I'm going to try that and see if that's about the right balance. So I'll cast out and see.
The slightly shorter rig with now a yellow boilie instantly gets attention, but even this one seems a bit too long. Perhaps an 8-inch tail will get better results.
Stein, was that a few roach that just came in just then?
Yeah, just a tiny bit and it backed off again. Back to the deep bit.
Well, that's the first time we've seen some
Other species.
roach. We saw that big tench earlier.
Apart from tench, carp and bream, yeah, you're right. Clown. Tench.
The adjustments seem to pay off and Phil is in to his second fish.
That was on the shorter hair rig. At least it hooked it. Both the last two bites have been when 3 fish have come in at the same time. So the other fish being there made him eat it. The old body hanging out his mouth. Lekker bream. Nice for cold again. Lovely conditions, aren't it?
They are, yeah.
Right, let's put him back with the others.
Where did you catch that one on, Phil?
That was on a 10mm, bream there again now. It was on a 10mm yellow boilie. Just
All
seems
right.
as though that,
You think that made a difference?
well, it seems as though, from watching the monitor, it just seemed to be picking out that yellow. It
Colour.
sticks out like a sore thumb out there, and maybe the size. You know, they're not really feeding very much, so they're coming over, and they're just like picking up one particle. So maybe the 10mm yellow is sticking out a bit more than the little trusty white.
All right, let's chuck it out and
See if we can get another one in the onion sack.
that'll be nice.
Jesus.
You've got a tangle.
No. Tangles are for novices. Okay, it's beautiful overcast now.
Even on this slow day, the guys did manage to learn a couple of crucial lessons.
But see, I noticed from that last bite, it was 3 fish that came in.
Feeding all 3 of them.
Yeah, and it made it take the foot. It seems as though if one fish comes in,
Less curious.
you simply can't catch
Yeah,
it.
no.
Ideal situation would obviously be 10 or 20 fish coming in feeding, but
Yeah.
I think with the clear water
Makes
and
them more confident.
the bright sunshine, it's been a struggle today, but
Yeah.
I still think we learnt our lessons. One definite positive, I think, was that the fact that it just shows you haven't got to feed very much to catch bream, because I definitely think we've been over positive today
There's a bream,
on quite a hard day.
which is feeding.
3.
2, 3.
He might have that. Yeah, that third one will
Yeah.
have the boilie. He'll have it.
There we go. Have it. No, he moved the
Move.
bait a bit. Can
Definitely.
you just believe that? Those 3 fish just cruise
more
along
confident,
slowly.
I thought we had a good chance of catching one of those.
Apart
then.
from the other 3, just back there, just went off like a rocket.
Let's move the boilie away from the cage a bit, which has made it a bit nicer.
It is. It looks fantastic now, right in the middle.
Yeah. Incredibly.
Hopefully there they come back. There we
Incredibly
go.
clean bottom. See, they're the smaller ones. Them small ones, which have only appeared in the last hour, they're the ones that are going through at 100 mile an hour. There's more
Now
fish
that-
about now.
there we go.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, have it.
Yeah, oh, he had the micros, didn't he, Stein?
Yeah.
Beautiful shot of him eating the micros there.
There we go. There we go. Ah,
He's on the mic.
no.
Oh, he caught it with his line. He's on the micros.
The other one, there's one behind there.
Yeah, they're feeding
Come
now.
on,
They're
they're feeding
Fran,
now.
They're feeding now on the micros.
They are.
Gone overcast. That could be the big key.
The big key of
Biggie?
feeding and not feeding.
Well, I mean, you could easily obviously see, perfect, that fish came in there and had a mouthful of micros and then went away again. Maybe if you've got a bit more confidence, it'd be worth a chuck on the method.
On the method again, yeah.
Yeah, another interesting lesson that we learnt earlier this time was when I tried the pellet method, as we call it, the first 4 or 5 casts that I had, all that landed on the bottom was an empty method feeder.
An empty method, yeah. Or at least the first layer.
Yeah, which was very interesting and strange because...
Yeah. You believed that it stayed on in one piece.
Yeah, I believed it. I mean, in the end, to get it to hit the bottom with all the pellets on, I had to really mould
it round, yeah.
Which was new to me, and I'm sure is new to thousands of people. So that
Not if you were using ground bait though, because
no, when we used ground bait, as you could saw from the
stayed
pictures,
on perfectly.
It stayed on perfectly, and when it hit the bottom, it worked just as though
as we expected
it
to work the same with the micros, but it didn't.
So we'll have a few more experiments with the pellet method tomorrow and cast out a few more times.
See if we can catch a few. You're on. You're in.
Yeah,
you're in.
Yeah, come in,
You're in. Get it. Get it. It's on. There are a lot of fish in the swim now,
yeah.
Phil.
I'll chuck the method again in a minute.
Yeah, a lot of fish out there now.
Lekker fish.
Yeah.
Nice fish that is.
Nice fish, Phil.
Yeah, lovely fish. Got the old yellow 10mm hanging out his mouth. Nice bream.
Do you like these bream more than the English one?
About the same.
About the same. Okay.
God, he's still got a bit of life. He's got a bit of kick left in him, hasn't he? I think the hook's come out on it. Yeah. Hook's come out in the net. Nice fish. Yeah.
You're going to cast out again, Phil?
Oh, that's perfect, Stein.
Still,
absolutely perfect.
Still on the yellow 10.
Lekker cast.
Oh, there it is, spot on the money.
It's right by the cage as well, Stein, isn't it?
Fantastic. Leave it, yeah, perfect.
Looks to me like casting of the highest order.
There we go, fish feeding, boiling move, quite a few fish now, 7 or 8. Cruising around, one's going back, feeding. They are feeding a bit now, they're off again. Quite a few fish now, big shoal just went through, about 10, 12 fish. And they're off again.
One had a bit of a nudge, didn't it? So, is that a couple of times they've like really gone quite close to the feeder now?
Yeah.
Definitely going to try I've got a method feeder ready. Once...
Just leave this one out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If nothing happens,
we'll see if we can get one to come through with the method. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. There we go. Oh, nearly.
Feeding much
Almost.
better now, don't they?
I'd leave it out there for a bit.
Yeah, I'll see if we can get a take on this and then see if we can get one on the method.
Yeah.
That fish there came in at like great pace, just singled out the boilie and took it. There he is. Got the trusty yellow hanging out his mouth, Stein.
Fantastic.
I tell you, that's a decent. That's probably one of the biggest ones. It's not in the best of condition, that one, but it's a decent fish. Nice sized fish, perfectly hooked. Look, bottom lip, right in the middle. If you wrote a textbook, that's how you'd hook a fish. Looks like he's a bit.
Looks a bit battered.
Yeah, if he's just finished spawning, but I'm sure he'll recover.
After a couple of fish on the cage, it's time for the method feeder.
I'm just putting the pellets on now on this method, Stein, really firmly.
Few fish moving around again. There are only a few bits and pieces left now on the bottom. Fish moving, feeding. Oh, that's a big fish.
Right, if I can.
Quite a few fish out now, Phil.
Right, I'm just about to putting these on as firmly as I can.
Oof, that looked
Big.
battered now. His whole flank was ripped to pieces.
Sure. Right. That looks like, I think that's on the money, Stein. See it?
No. Yo, there it is. Perfect. Leave it there.
Yes, on
Perfect.
the money.
Boiley's still in there.
Is everything still in there, yeah?
Yeah. Now it comes out.
It landed nice as well,
Yeah,
like it landed
perfectly.
like a real plop.
Perfectly. Some micros coming down now.
Is that the method there? Point to the method.
It's down. The method's down there. And the boiley's down here.
In amongst the grub.
Yeah. So you've got a nice pile of bait here. Now it's just a question of getting the bream back in.
Indeed, it doesn't take too long before the fish are back, and as the evening progresses, they tend to feed much more aggressively. This way, it won't take too long before he gets another take. Even though the brim are feeding actively right now, they won't take the hook bait. Perhaps another color will do the trick.
It seems that the fish here have a preference for the yellow boilie, and it gets picked up instantly. Unfortunately, because of some bad luck, the fish gets away. Phil explains why.
What happened, Phil?
The line has just gone round the hook. You see that? That's how it should have sat. And that was obviously the reason why we lost him. Sometimes you can use a bit of silicone on your shank to stop that.
The method feeder with the yellow boilie gets another cast, and as you can see, even the roach have returned. Even though the fish are very persistent, it just seems to be that a herring in combination with a large hook bait is not very effective when fishing for roach.
He's got it.
Roach?
Yeah.
Roach?
Yeah. Got it.
Right, come up again.
Again.
Yeah. Do you mind having me dinner?
The big hook bait doesn't keep the fish from trying, time after time after time, until Phil finally manages to hook one.
Glistening in the sun, look. Nice roach. Not the biggest in the world, but nice fish. Go on, Mr. Roach, go back and see your mate.
Gradually, the setting sun forces us to call it a day. We put some bait out and return the fish we've caught.
See you soon. See you tomorrow. Get on that bait. He said thank you, so I love that yellow boilie.
All right, Phil, end of day 2. What have we learned today?
We learnt a few interesting things today.
We did, yeah.
Main point early on was about the actual power you had to put your micros around the feeder with.
It came off pretty quick,
Yeah, I
didn't
mean
they?
that was very interesting. Obviously, when we were feeding with the open end feeder, you know, I maybe guess that you know the aim was for your stuff to come out really quick, but you know, when we actually saw underwater, it was coming out instantly. Instantly,
yeah. The cage hit the bottom without any ground bait in it left. What have we learned about the colours today, Phil? We've been using the white boilies, the yellow ones and the red ones at the end. We fished the white one for the first, what do you say, 1.5, 2 hours without any success.
Yeah.
Switched over to a red one.
Yeah, I think there was definitely something in the colours. We had a couple of fish, a couple of takes early on the red, and then the yellow was by far the best.
By far
colour.
the best. Do you think that could have had to do anything without the depth we were fishing at and the amount of sunlight?
It stuck out like a sore thumb, even on the camera. So it was obviously a very visible bait.
Visible bait, yeah.
And then throw into it the fact that the lake probably sees a lot of maize with the carp anglers, a lot of sweet corn.
They feel more confident on it.
Well, maybe they've seen a lot of yellow and they recognise yellow with food.
As a
but
bait,
it just shows that you have to try these different colours because yellow was by far the best bait today.
Yeah, all right.
Which was interesting.
It was, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward for tomorrow anyway. Last day. I might want to give the red ground bait a go tomorrow. See if that makes any difference.
Yeah.
Because yesterday we've been using the sweet ground bait, which was a bit yellow. Today we mainly use the micros in the dark. So maybe we'll have a go on the red tomorrow.
Yeah. I think
if that makes any difference.
We've been very positive feed-wise today. We've fed to catch 200 pounds of fish.
Yeah.
Which obviously we haven't done. So, you know, we've been positive today. Tomorrow we'll be very negative.
Very negative.
All we'll do, we've had fish cruising in and out today. So what we'll do tomorrow, we'll just set our stall out just to try and catch those fish.
Who are in the swim.
So we'll just feed a bit of ground bait, tiny amount of micros, if any, and we'll fish a bright, visible boilie like the yellow one. And basically we'll just try and catch one fish all the time. And we'll see if we can catch one fish, and you know, maybe one might add up to 10 by the end of the day.
Maybe, yeah.
So we'll keep the fingers crossed, and we'll be back here bright and early tomorrow morning.
Totally enjoyed it today. See you tomorrow, Phil.
The start of a new day. Stein doesn't waste any time and puts out a rig straight away. Let's see what all the lessons learned have brought us. Immediately we see that the fish are feeding much more confidently than the day before, and in combination with a very subtle presentation of a single cage plus boilie, we have increased our chances on catching a few brim.
We're in.
Stein, you never heard that saying, little is better?
Phil,
Yeah.
you're a star. Are you happy?
I mean, you had, in that stage there, you said, there was 4 or 5 fish feeding at the same time then.
Yeah.
And as soon as you can get any sort of competition.
But can you see the difference in the way they were feeding yesterday and they are today?
Yeah.
Much more slower, and you're just feeding properly instead of just cruising around at high speed.
Back on it already, look, Stein.
Really?
Yeah. Right, tell you what as well, you can see them clear, they're going right into the ground bait.
Into the red ground bait.
Look now on the screen now, Stein.
I can't, I'm getting this fish in.
God.
Just hang on.
You're gonna see some action today.
Hopefully, yeah.
Not just in the evening.
That's a proper fish.
Stein, just have a quick look at the telly now, quick.
They're all over the place again. Fantastic. Here it comes.
There's more bream in the peg now than we've seen at
yesterday. All right. It's a nice fish, Phil.
Stein.
Hang on.
Nice fish.
It is, yeah.
Having smelled the success, it doesn't take too long before the feeder is back in the swim. With a rig length of around 6 to 8 inches, Stein tries to minimize the number of missed opportunities, but that doesn't mean it never happens. The negative approach seems to work, and Stein is getting into the right rhythm.
Yep, go, bite, bite.
Is it on?
Yep.
All right. Got it. That's on the money, Phil. Should be coming in a bit closer now, I think. Watch it.
Oh, yeah.
You just had a massive liner, Phil.
Yeah, just about 2 minutes ago, as many fish as I've seen come in,
All right.
possibly 10 or 12,
Feeding.
came in feeding just a bit further, a bit closer in than the hook bait is.
Okay. I think it's on.
Yeah, he's on, yeah.
Yeah, it's on.
Look at that, look,
Got it.
footage. It's right in front of the camera, Stein. Look at the camera, Stein.
Oh, fantastic that is.
Look, still there.
Yeah, I can feel the movement.
All
by
he's done is
watching-
he just
by-
went up.
by watching the bream.
He just went upwards, yeah.
Lovely. Could you see it take the bait, Phil?
Yeah. How long's your hook length? 10 inch.
10 inch, yeah? You want it longer?
No, I tend to use a
Shorter or longer?
well, shorter than Dutch anglers, but
If
Not-
you look at it yesterday, we found that if you made it longer, they got more time to get rid of the bait.
yeah.
Feels like a good fish. Another big bream.
Well, that's one good thing we learnt, Stein. That
Yeah,
we're not-
definite.
there's not many fish taking our bait and we're not cooking them.
No,
So that's a very positive thing.
there we go.
Is that another big
Another big bream. Nice fish though, Phil. It's not in the net yet, but it's about to. There we go. And it's in.
Well done, Stein.
Well done, Phil. Thank you. Nice fish.
The amount of brim we see in front of the cameras can be somewhat deceptive because of editing, So you have to realize that in between the activity there are periods of time between 10 to 15 minutes that there are no fish at all in the swim.
Just waiting for the bream to come back in, Stein.
All right.
Quite often during those moments of inactivity, Phil decides to tell us a joke. But due to their graphic nature, we can't show you the entire bit.
You're not filming this, are you?
No.
Yes, you are. It's on. I can see it. Bloke rings up a radio station. She went, oh, up the
Thank you, Phil, for the entertainment. And now back to business.
Some micros in the middle, topped off with ground bait.
Okay. Oh,
One just came right at it.
one followed that down and nearly, Steve.
It did, yeah.
It nearly. That was one of
Nearly
those
grabbed the feeder.
when you cast out and it goes straight around. One of those followed it down and nearly took the boilie. That's one of them bites where you chuck it out and it goes straight round.
Yeah, because they follow it.
Yeah.
I'll get one more out.
Couple more, yeah.
Couple of more, okay.
Yeah. We might as well see what happens when we be a bit more positive. We've obviously showed so far this morning that the negative style of fishing
Produce
worked.
fish. There we go. You see it coming?
Perfect.
All right.
After putting out some bait, Stein is ready to cast out.
You should be able to see this one, Phil. Positive.
Oh yes, bang on.
Putting a couple of feederfuls out is a great way to get the fish back on when the activity has gone flat. And within moments the brim are back to enjoy the ringer's red.
Yeah, he's in, he's in.
Yeah?
What's your tip doing?
Oh, sorry.
That seemed to help then, Stein, because once you put them feeder falls in, they came in them for
Longer
a
period.
little bit longer, yeah.
All right.
Grubbed up more. a good one, Stein.
Yeah. Decent fish.
Nice conditions now.
They all are, yeah. Here it comes.
Oh, they're back on it as well.
Oh. In the net. Well done, Phil. Thank you very much. Nicely in the front. There you can see the white boilies. Is that on the white? That was on the white, yeah? It's another nice fish. Alright, let's get it in.
After a very long but interesting 3 days, the session has drawn to a close. Phil and Stein summarized their first experience with underwater footage.
Alright, Phil. Been fishing for 3 days now. Coming to the end of it. What have we learned so far?
I think we've learnt quite a few things, especially the way bream feed. You know, I think we all imagined that the bream were on top of our bait a lot longer than they were. Obviously from the pictures we've seen that they come in, I mean even today, well all 3 days, they come in, you know, feed for 3, 4, 5 seconds.
And then they're off
and
again.
then they're gone again.
Yeah. Weather-wise, yesterday was a bit brighter than it was today, I think. We were fishing more shallow as well, a bit more to the right. Today we decided to go a bit further out. Do you think that has anything to do with the...
Yeah, I think it's helped that we've been in a little bit deeper water. They seemed a bit more confident today, but yesterday they definitely couldn't catch fish when it was sunny.
Sunny, no.
That was a definite no-no.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we are fishing in very crystal clear water.
It is, yeah.
And in a relatively shallow spot. So, you know, if you took it to a coloured water, then the conditions might not have so much of an effect. But
yeah.
the water's so clear, you know, I should think when the sun comes out, the reflections and you know, it just doesn't help the fishing. But today, it's been pretty good conditions all day. Yet this morning there was loads of fish about.
Feeding as well.
Feeding fish
straight away.
Yeah, and in the last 2 hours, there's been relatively nothing. So is it the old truth that, you know, bream feed in the morning and then
in the afternoon, late afternoon?
I mean, we've definitely found that out. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
There's been no fish, no bream feeding between 12:30 and 2:30.
2:30, no, nearly nothing. Then we've used the method feeder yesterday, open end feeder as well. What do you think about the way that?
Yeah, I think the method. I think it wasn't, you know, the days we've been fishing haven't really been method days because the water's very clear and the fish have been a bit spooky. The method is a way of fishing when fish are hungry and very positive.
Yeah.
You know, from watching the pictures, the most quick and best takes we've had is when you've been fishing an open end feeder with the boilie
really standing out.
Yeah, a little bit away from obviously the bait, so the bream's come in and it's just picked off the single boilie. And then that brings you along to hook lengths.
We found that as well.
Yeah, we haven't had a massive problem
hooking them.
No, with fish. I suspected that maybe 10 fish picked up your bait and you only caught one, but that hasn't been the problem. I think hair rigs obviously definitely help that.
To hook them better.
To hook the fish, yeah. And secondly, I had 2 or 3 fish that picked it up yesterday, brought my hook length down to about 10, 12 11 inches, 12 inches, and never had a problem after that. So I'd definitely say
same
that,
today.
that the longer the hook length, the less fish you're going to hook. Not many fish spooked off the feeder or anything, so I couldn't really see any advantages of a longer hook length. So I'd definitely say that my hook lengths in the future would be 10, 11, 12 inches. I think that
Fishing an open end
on
feeder.
an open end feeder.
Yeah. And what do you think about the ground bait that we've been using? Yesterday we decided to fish micros and the ring is dark with a bit of original in it.
Yeah, I don't know if the colour of the ground bait, if we've had any evidence to suggest that it's done any good, that it's been different for the different colours. The yellow boilie was definitely the best.
By far the best.
By far the best colour hook bait, so that was a positive. And then, you'd have to say that yesterday, obviously, I thought that we overfed and caught a few fish. Today, we've fished very negative. And I thought our success rate for the amount of fish that came in our swim early on was very, very good.
What's the way we were feeding?
Yeah, it was very good. I mean, we didn't feed an awful lot, but we caught a few fish, considering not many fish came in. So I think that, bites to fish ratio was very good today.
Very good, yeah.
I think we've proved that you don't have to feed tons and tons of bait to catch bream. Maybe you do to catch 200, 300 pound of bream.
But only if they're really positive
feeding. But I always say, you're not going to catch 200 pound of bream very often in a year, but you are going to catch 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's you don't have to feed masses to catch bream, as we proved today.
We saw some roach coming in yesterday, late at around 7 at night. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
it was quite funny.
There was hundreds of roach feeding ravenous, but I mean that's why we've not seen a roach all day. And then all of a sudden there's millions of them there, and then you couldn't do anything to get rid of them, really. I mean, we were fishing a 10 mil boilie, which they were trying to get in their mouth, and we eventually caught two.
But the thing I noticed is that normally you wouldn't see that if you got some bait in your swim, like yesterday, we've got a lot of micros in the swim. Once those roach come on there, they tend to just be there for about 20 seconds, and they vanish, and all your bait's gone.
Yeah, I think in your head you think all your bait's gone, but
you still think there are some bits and pieces around.
Yes, you can always see odd micros. If you fed a ball of micros, you probably fed maybe 1,000 individual pellets.
Yeah.
And don't forget, obviously, every time a fish bream moves its tail, a few have gone a little bit further. All that's probably happened is those roach have maybe moved your bait, spread your bait out a little bit for you, and obviously you've still got your bits coming up and down off the bottom, and
so they keep coming
the
back
flavours. So yeah, I don't think, yes, they've eaten their fair share, but it's not as if they've come in, eaten all your food, and you're not going to catch any bream. I don't think that's the case, because obviously in the normal world, unless you caught those roach, you're never ever going to know that those roach came in your peg.
No, not really. No, that's true.
I mean, even though we caught two, your wildest dreams wouldn't have said there was hundreds of them feeding in a frenzy, would it?
No.
Unless you'd have seen it on telly.
Which we did.
Yeah.
So, nice footage.
Yeah. Fantastic. So next time you catch one roach, think how many there are there.
Not one or two, a few hundred.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, Phil. End of the day. It's gone a bit cold.
Yeah, I think it's gone a bit chilly since the wind's changed round. It's coming right in our face now. It was definitely better this morning when it was from left to right.
Yeah.
So I don't think the wind's going to change again. So I think we've only got one thing left to do.
And that is?
You can buy me a pint.
I will, Phil. Come on, let's go.